Somewhere in the underworld a boy around 19 is lying down in his blood while coughing blood and groaning in pain. There's a huge hole in his stomach and blood is gushing out from his wound. His name is YNLN, wielder of the SN legendary shield. It reflects magic attacks to their caster, and he's the Rook, former Rook of a red-hair power-hungry slut. ISSEI, now it's time to extract his sacred gear, said a red-haired woman. ISSEI. He gladly. He walks towards YN with a smirk on his face. How dirty, how filthy, how disgusting, it makes me want to puke. Why did I trust them? You thought in pain. RIAS. He's still alive, really, what a monster he is, she said on seeing YN is still breathing. ISSEI. Yeah, but that ends with this. A red gauntlet appears on his hands. ISSEI. Drake. Drake stabs his heart with Ascalon. I will do the rest, said an ancient voice. ISSEI grins and calls Ascalon, which is gifted to him by Archangel Michael. ISSEI. Sorry bro, with your shield, haha, I will become more powerful. And he said with a perverted smile and stabbed YN in the heart. This must be punishment that foolishly believes, a punishment to me that clings to the world called trust. That's why if there's a second chance bestowed upon me, grieves his teeth, I will kill you too. Mark my words, with the cruelest method I can think of, with the method that will make them suffer the longest, so that they never forget it even in their next life. I'll carve it deep inside their heart. YN thought. His life slowly starts to fade away. That's the time when YN took his last breath in this world. A life that has been deceived, betrayed, and should be ending, but his story is had yet to end. He not even caring about the fact that they just gave birth to a god, a supreme one whose name will bring fear across the whole multiverse. This is the story of a man who will stand above all. Let it be gods, dragon gods, he will slay all of them if they get in his way. He will become the Overlord. In an alternate world similar to YN old world, except supernatural things don't belong in this world. No devil, no angel, no fallen, and no sacred gear. In a certain hospital in Japan, a woman around 30 is currently delivering a baby, and a 35-year-old man and a boy around 10 are currently waiting anxiously outside for the birth and safety of both the child and mother. Please be okay, her husband thought anxiously. Boy. Father, mama ... is she going to be okay? He asked his dad in worry. Dad. Smiles. She will okay, son, he said, and ruffled his son's hair gently with a loving smile. After some time later they heard a child crying. The doctor came and informed them that both the child and mother are safe ... but the two stormed inside the room, without letting the doctor finish his word. Inside the room. Man, boy. Dear mama. She smiles warmly on seeing her husband and her 10-year-old son. Woman. Darling, look. Both of them looked at her arms and saw a cute baby boy sleeping in her embrace. Woman. Isn't he cute? She said. Boy. Yeah mama, I am big brother now. Her son giggles in happiness as if he is the happiest boy in the whole world. She looked at her child and warmly embraced him. Woman, what will be his name, dear? She asked her husband. Man. Smiles. YN, his name will be YN Tanaka, he said, and kissed YN forehead. YN's little mouth curved in a smile. Family how, YN thought. Boy. Mama look like he is smiling, he said. So a second chance bestowed upon me, bitch, I am coming for you too, YN thought. Time skip 15 years later. YN bit his lips in frustration, and his hands turned into a due to anger. It's been 15 years since he was born into this world, but reality hit him hard. There are no RIAS or ISSEI in this world. Heck, even sacred gears and supernatural beings like dragon, angel, and devil doesn't exist in this world. So he concluded that this world is an alternate version which similar to his old world, but this world is far more advanced in technology, and little bit bigger than his previous world. YN, sweetie, dinner is ready, come down. He came out of his thoughts when he heard his mother. YN sigh, coming mama, he said with a sigh, and left his room. He is blessed to be born into such a loving and caring family. Time skip. YN, after helping his mom with food, sat beside his Nison. Pats, hey little champ, what's today dinner? YN smiles. YN. Nison, it's Katsudon, he said, and giggled on seeing his Nissan, who was drooling on hearing Katsudon. Dad. Haha, he will never change, he said with a hearty laugh. Mom. Giggles indeed, boys dig in. YN and Nison. ITADAKIMASU2X. Both siblings start to devour the food like a hungry wolf. Time skip. After dinner. YN. Nice, and what about Yggdrasil, did you finish it? He asked his Nissan in excitement. He is proud of his big brother's works and his achievements, and why not his Nissan, one of the best game developers and designer in this world. Nison. Giggles, someone is excited about my new game, he said, and gently ruffled YN hair. YN. Of course I am, it's your game, he said with pride. Nison. Chuckles, then how can I say no to my little brother? How about this, when it is finished, you will be the first player who will play this game. YN eyes lit up in happiness. YN. Really? He yells while shaking his Nissan in excitement. Sunday, July 4th, 2126 AAAAA. It's been 5 months after that little talk with Nison and his promise about Yggdrasil, and finally the glorious day came. It will be released tomorrow. According to NISE, Yggdrasil is a game of exploration, and so many things were mysteries left unknown for players to discover on their own or in groups. It is a game where all you were told was the controls before being thrown into the deep end. In other words, the special thing about Yggdrasil is the incredible amount of freedom given to players, compared to any other MMORPGs out there. He can't wait to play it. YN? Yes. He yells in happiness and leaves for school while grinning. Time skip. After school. He returns home and greets his mom and dad before going up to his room, but he stops his steps halfway when he saw this device on his bed. He walks towards it, his hands shaking not in fear but in shock. YN? This? He then saw a piece of paper attached on top it. He opens it and starts to read the words written on it. A tilde, 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 A tilde. Hey little champ, how are you? I'm sorry for missing your birthday, champ. Even though I wasn't there, I hope you had one of the best birthdays ever. Wish you a belated happy birthday, champ. As promised, that you will be the very first player to play it. I hope you will like this gift. P.S. By the way, I added a few gifts to your account, and also you don't have to choose your race. One already added it. Tell me. YN smiles. He can't blame his Nissan. He knows how busy he is, and after all, he is the developer and designer of Yggdrasil. YN. He apology accepted. He said and placed the letter inside his drawer. He then put on the VR headgear, and with a ding sound the device powered up. YN felt weightless, as if his whole body was in a void. Ding. Welcome to Yggdrasil. A mechanical voice rang inside the void. He saw a blue box floating in front of his face. Please create a new character. YN then saw a male body inside the blue box. He then starts to modify his character to his liking. A few minutes later. YN. Dude, if you are a real person. He chuckles, but his daydreaming is interrupted by a mechanical voice. Please choose a name. He came out of his thoughts and looked at his character for some time. YN. Your name will be YNLN. Time skip 8 years. System announcement. Hades, god of underworld, first kill. YNLN. A mechanical voice rang through the whole game. RP. Random player. RP1. Holy shit, he defeated Hades alone. He yells in shock. RP2. No way. YN POV. Hades' body starts to disappear like this, leaving behind a weapon and a black core. YN. Let's see what gifts you left for me. He picked the weapon and gave it a swing, which is a scythe. YN. Ha, another world-class weapon. He grins a little and places the weapon in his inventory. He then picks up the core. Absorb Hades' core. Yes. No. Blue box appears in front of him, and he clicks on yes. Ding. Level up. Level up. Level up. Level up. Shadow Lord equals Shadow God. A mechanical voice rang in his mind. YN. Oh, my race evolved. Then what about my other race? He then opened his status and saw his other race also changed. YN. Grins next to Zeus. Haha. He leaves the floor laughing like a maniac and walks towards his next target. YN. POV ends. POV. Hades, god of underworld, first kill. YNLN. A mechanical voice rang through the whole game. Holy shit. Did you guys hear that? Said a weird bird-looking creature. Unbelievable. He is going for God Tower. Said this creature. G. Haha, as expected from the Grim Reaper of Yggdrasil. Said this being with a hearty log. Mamunga Oni-chan, who's YN. LN. The odd-looking pink flesh asked the being which is sitting beside her. Mamunga. Ah, you don't know about him, Buku-chan. Said an undead skeleton creature. Buku. No. Mamunga cleared his throat. Mamunga. YN is a solo player and regarded as a top-tier pro player of Yggdrasil. He is proficient in every class. This goes to the point where he could go pro with any of the 24 sub-classes that are available in Yggdrasil. He said. Yuku. Seriously. Mamunga and others nod their heads. Mamunga. According to the game developers, YN knows all of the weaknesses of his opponent's race and class, and on top of that able to produce top-quality tactics in seconds. Whether it's PvP or PvE, he will destroy his opponents in less than a minute or two. He single-handedly massacred a whole high-tier guild, which earned him the title Grim Reaper of Yggdrasil. He said. Yuku. He won is ridiculously strong. She said. Mamunga. Haha, of course he is. Did you ever wonder why that huge emblem hangs on the world tree? He said and pointed his hands towards the huge world tree. World tree. Emblem. Touch me. That's his emblem. He holds the strongest title in the history of Yggdrasil. He is the champion of Yggdrasil, and also his powers grew into tremendous might to the point that he could fight evenly against 30 players by himself alone. He even defeated the 9 world champions including me, which earned him the title Overlord. He said while looking at the emblem. Yuku. Wow. But before anyone can say anything again, a mechanical voice rang through the whole game. System announcement. Use God of Thunder, first kill. YN, LN. 10 minutes later. System announcement. Kratos, God of War, first kill. YN, LN. MOMONGA and others. Nani the fuck 5x. YN POV. After Kratos' body disappeared in dust, leaving behind a beautiful axe and a pair of chain blades including a blood-red core. YN used appraisal on them. Leviathan axe. Class. God. Blades of Chaos. Class. World. YN. Hell yeah. YN. A god class weapon and again a world class haha. He then looks at the blood core of Kratos. YN. I will absorb it later. He placed the two weapons and the core in his inventory. YN. He Kronos, here I come bro. He said with a bone-chilling smile and left for the last boss of God Tower, which is Kronos, Titan of Time and Harvest. He walks up to the next floor and opens the huge-ass creepy-looking door. Mortal, your death will not be a gentle one. A terrifying voice resounds through the whole floor. Then from the shadows, a huge colossal ugly-looking being came out. YN. You're. Kronos roar, die mortal. At the last moment somehow YN dodged the attack. YN. Phew, that was close. He used appraisal on Kronos. Kronos. LVL 1000. Title. Lord of the Titans. Titan of Time and Harvest. HP 10 million. MP 10 million. ATK. Def. A huge grin appears on YN face. YN. At last a worthy opponent. 30 minutes later. YN again used appraisal on Kronos and saw his HP is down to 4 million. Kronos. HP 4 million. Kronos. Die mortal. Out of nowhere, a huge ass sword appears in his hand. YN. Oh, so you're going to use your ultimate weapon then? So am I. Alcil. A magic circle appears on the ground, then something comes out of it and kneels in front of YN. YN. Alcil keeps him distracted for a few minutes. Alice nods his head, leaves in a flash, and appears in front of Kronos. Alcadal. Hell flame. Time skip. Few minutes later. YN. Alcil, you may leave now. Alice nods his head and disappears. With a smirk on his face, he look at bloodied Kronos. YN. I am the bone of my sword. Steel is my body and fire is my blood. I have created over 1,000 blades. Unknown to death. Nor known to life. Have withstood pain to create many weapons. Yet those hands will never hold anything. So, as I pray. Unlimited blade works. Tuesday, August 29, 2138 AAA. 4 hours before server shutdown. The MMORPG stands for Dive Massively Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game, and among all the various MMORPGs that had been developed, one stood above the rest. Yggdrasil. In this game, which had been released 12 years earlier, players could customize their characters, items and residences however they wanted. Yggdrasil's overwhelming freedom won its explosive popularity, but sadly today it ends all these years of my hard work, my weapons, my tomb, my queens and the guardians. Thought of being while looking at the world tree from a cliff. Sigh, it was too much fun, I will miss Yggdrasil. He said to himself while looking at the world tree. His voice is heavy and full of sadness. Asked YN. He heard someone from behind. He then turned and saw an elder lich who was wearing a jet black academic gown adorned with golden and violet edges. He also has a dark red orb floating under his ribs that emanate a feeling of dread, and he is holding a golden staff similar to that of the Greek god Hermes' Caduceus. It is entwined by 7 serpents, and in each of the squirming serpents' mouths hold a jewel of a different color. YN stared at him for some seconds in amazement. He didn't think that a player would show up. YN then created 2 thrones with his creation magic. He then sat on one of the thrones. YN. Come sit. YN said. The unknown player nodded his head hurriedly and sat beside. YN. YN Tanaka. Armor vanishes. That's my real name, nice to meet you. He said while enjoying the beautiful view in front of him. The unknown player was shocked when he saw Yggdrasil's Grim Reaper's real appearance. Likewise, Sir YN. YN interrupts him. YN. Please just call me YN, I don't like formalities. Haha, scratch his head. My name is Momonga. I am the current guild master of Ain Zulgaon. My real name is Suzuki Satoru. Please call me Satoru YN-san. He said. Both shook hands and looked at the breathtakingly beautiful world tree. YN. Even though it's the last day Yggdrasil's servers are open, I didn't think I would meet a fellow player. He said. Momonga. I was waiting for a fellow guild member but he didn't come, so I. He stopped halfway. He wanted to say something, but no words came from his mouth. YN can feel the sadness in his voice. So he is like me, how YN thought with a sad face. YN. I see. Their hands turned into fists in anger. Both YN and Momonga slammed their fists on their throne in anger. Both. Why did it have to end like this? 2x. They said at the same time. All their hard work, their tombs today, everything will come to an end. Momonga. It was fun. He sighed. YN. That sigh, right Satoru, it was fun, I will miss this place. He said in sadness. Momonga. Me too. He nods his head in sadness. YN. Tell a bit about yourself. He asked Momonga. The two continued to talk about various things in their daily life. YN. Ha, for real bro. He asked Momonga with a hearty laugh. Momonga. Yeah, touch me was always like that. He said with a chuckle. YN he is a kind man among the nods and righteous. He said while enjoying the view. 2 hours left before server shutdown. YN. Wanna have a friendly match Sator between us? He asked Momonga. Momonga. But your level is too high, I will not stand a chance against you, and also you're the last boss of Yggdrasil, which means your level must be over 1000. He stated. YN. I will suppress my level to your level. He said to Momonga. Momonga thought for a moment. Momonga. Alright then. He said. Time skip. Momonga sighed on seeing how easily YN defeated him under 3 minutes, but he didn't take this loss to heart, instead he was happy that he fought against the Grim Reaper of Yggdrasil. Momonga. Man you're something huh? He said to YN. YN. Haha thanks man for this friendly match. A katana appears in his hands here. YN throws the katana toward Momonga, who catches it easily with his bony hands. Katana. Momonga. This. He took out the katana from his sheath. The katana is blood red, and there are some ancient markings written on the blade. YN. That my friend is Muramasa the demon blade, it's a god-class weapon. He said shocking Momonga. Momonga shook his head and was about to return the blade to YN. YN. Take it, it's a gift from me to you. Maybe one day Yggdrasil will again rise from its ashes, and maybe one day we will see each other again my friend. He said with closed eyes as if he was recalling everything he had done or achieved in this game. Momonga. Thank you. He said in gratitude. YN. Smiles, you're welcome. He then checked the time. 1 hour left before server shutdown. YN. Satoru I want to spend the last hour in my tomb. He said. Momonga. I see it's goodbye then. He said. YN. It's a goodbye then my friend. Both shook their hands with a hearty laugh and said goodbye before leaving. Great Tomb of Thanatos. Throne room. YN sat on his throne like a god and closed his eyes, while radiating an aura of dominance and nobility. There are 11 more thrones beside his left and right, but those thrones are 2 times smaller than YN. 11 goddesses are sitting on those thrones each for one. They are breathtakingly beautiful, but there's one thing missing: emotions. They're all his queens and the second strongest beings in this tomb. YN. I will miss all of you my queens, Guardian Sebastian, I am going to miss this place. He said in sadness and saw that the timer was about to hit 0. 6. 5. 4. 3. YN closed his eyes in sadness while waiting for the game to kick him out from the server. 2. 1. 0. A few minutes passed, but he was still waiting for the game to kick him out, but another minute passed away. YN. He opened his eyes in confusion. He was still in the throne room. What's going on? The server should be down by now. Was the shutdown postponed? Thought YN in confusion and tried to open his console, but only silence greeted him. Where's my console? He thought in confusion. YN. What is going on? He yells in confusion. There is something the matter. Asked a beautiful blonde woman. What the heck? What in the world? He was shocked to the very core when he saw Gilgamesh talking and her mouth moving. Dear 11x. He came out of his shock when he saw Gilgamesh, and his 10 queens are looking at him with a worried face. My lord, are you okay? He heard a male voice and saw a man in a butler uniform who was bowing on the ground. YN. The GM call isn't working Sebastian. He said. Sebastian, Gilgamesh and others. GM call. They stared at him in confusion. We are having a conversation, even their expressions, it's like they are alive, he thought with a shocked face. He then noticed something: he was breathing, and he checked his pulse. I have a pulse, what in the world is going on? He thought with a shocked face. YN. Sebastian. Sebastian. My lord. YN thought for a moment, then. YN. Take Narwhal and leave the tomb to confirm our surroundings. He stated. Sebastian. Yes, YN Sama. He bowed and left the throne room. Somewhere in a different world. Momonga. Albedo can ... I touch your chest. He asked a woman with black wings. No, this is not sexual harassment, it can't be helped. It's not as if I have anything to be ashamed of. It has to be done, and I have to use all my coercive powers as her superior to do it, though. Momonga with a sweat drop. Momonga. You don't mind, do you? He asked her while sweating. It was impossible to do it naturally, he thought with a sweat drop. Albedo. Boing, not at all, please have your way with me. She said while blushing from head to toe. What? Really? He screams in shock in his mind. Momonga raised his hands to grab her. You guys know what I mean. Albedo. Sparkle, so here it is my first time. She asked Momonga with sparkling eyes. Momonga. First time for what? Thought Momonga. Albedo. What shall I do with my clothes? Would you like me to take them off myself? Or did you want to do it? If I keep them on they might get dirty. Oh, but if Momonga-sama prefers it that way, I have no objection. She asked Momonga while breathing heavily and with a huge blush on her face. Momonga. In dimensional gap. This power, it's insane, a massive red western dragon thought with a shocked and terrified face. Same thing is going on a black-haired loli's mind. Their office the infinite dragon god, and Great Red the true dragon. But why am I attracted to this being? Both thought at the same time with a blush on their face. Realm of the Death. In the deepest part of this realm, a beautiful woman who's sitting on a majestic throne opens her eyes from her deep slumber. Shudder this power, she thought with a terrified face. She has a doll-like face, too beautiful and too well-crafted, red pupils likened to rubies, a bell-like beautiful voice, fair skin, and long white hair. She is the real death, the one who keeps the balance between the living and the dead, and stops the world from falling into chaos. She is as old as the very time itself and the strongest being in this world, even stronger than Great Rat and Terhixet, the Emperor Beast of Apocalypse. She was born in the dimensional gap before the two dragon gods with laws of death and life. One knows about her existence, except the two little dragon gods, and they know very well she was not someone to be messed up no matter what, but now that same being is afraid of someone. But why am I attracted to this being? She said with a huge blush on her face while gently rubbing her thighs. She can tell that this being is a male who's releasing this insane amount of power, but God knows what will happen if she came to know that the power he is releasing now is not even close to his real power. You're mine, she said while licking her lips and vanished from her majestic throne. YN Pov. If GM calls don't work, then maybe I can contact Satori using the message spell magic. Wait, will I be able to use magic like I could in the game, he thought. YN. Oda, contact the floor guardians and tell them to gather at the 11th floor, he said. Oda. Yes dear. She then left the throne room. YN then deactivated his world-class armor. Armor? Yanni and others. Kaya husband is so hot, thought while blushing madly. This was the first time they saw his real appearance. He is tall and extremely handsome, and his mature face displays an abnormal charm. His appearance was extraordinary in the first place, coupled with his domineering and indistinct noble aura which evoked favorable feelings in their hearts with extreme ease. In the game I could teleport freely with teleportation magic, but will it work, he thought, and looked at his 10 queens. YN. What happened, my queens, are you okay? He asked them with a worried face. Oh. We're fine dear, then KS for your concern. 10x. They stutters while blushing from head to toe. YN. But your faces are red. They can't take it anymore before grabbing his hands and teleports to a huge ass room with a huge ass bed, and yes, all of them. YN. How wide did you taw? He stopped when he saw their lustful hungry glances. YN. This is going to be fun, Fufu, he said while looking at 10 horny goddesses who's rubbing their thighs. YN. Snaps time seal. He snaps his finger and a time seal appears on the room. Time seal. Medusa. I want you, all of you, I want to feel you deep inside me. I want you to tell me when you're going to tell me when you're going to come, hear you moan my name, and fuck me harder, she said and approached him, then kissed him passionately. After a minute later they stopped the kiss and separated with a string of saliva between their tongue. Jean and others, not fair 9x. They said in jealousy. YN chuckles on seeing their jealousy before kissing all of them passionately. Time skip. Thanato's 11th floor. Man, that was fun, YN thought while grinning cheerfully. I can use magic, that means message. He tries to contact Momonga, but only silence greets him. No replies from Satori. Was I the only one who teleported into the game world, he thought. YN. Sebastian. He contacts Sebastian using a message spell. Sebastian. Yes, YN Sama. What is it? He asks YN. YN. What's it like out there? He asks Sebastian. Sebastian. We're on a grassy plain, he said. A grass plain, but the great tomb of Thanatos is surrounded by poisonous bags, YN thought with a shocked face. YN. No bags? He asked Sebastian. Sebastian. No, and I don't see any man-made structure either, just a grassy plain as far as the eye can see, and I haven't been able to confirm the existence of intelligent life in the area, he stated and waited for his master's next order. YN. Sebastian, meet me at 11 on the floor, he said. Sebastian. As you wish, my lord, he said. YN then stopped his message spell. So this isn't Yggdrasil. Well, I suppose I already knew it wouldn't the world of the game since all of my NPCs are alive, but say this is some other world like my old world, will I be able to get back to mine? I wonder what are they doing now? Mom, Dad, nice, and YN thought in sadness. One by one all 10 guardians gathered in front of him. Oda. Nina darling, I gathered them, are you happy? She asked YN cutely. YN. Chuckles, of course I am, my cute little wife, he said while patting her head gently. Rose. Now then let us perform the ritual of allegiance, said a beautiful woman. Others guardians nodded their heads on hearing her words. Ritual of allegiance, YN thought with a swift drop. Swear. Guardian of the first level, swear, I bow before you, O Supreme One. C22128, Delta. Guardian of the second level, C22128 Delta, I bow before you, O Supreme One. Lupus Regina. Guardian of the third floor, Lupus Regina Beta, I bow before you, O Supreme One. Solution. Guardian of the fourth floor, Solution Epsilon, I bow before you, O Supreme One. Narwhal. Guardian of the 5th floor, Narwhal Gamma, I bow before you, O Supreme One. Yuri. Guardian of the 6th floor, Yuri Alpha, I bow before you, O Supreme One. Lucifer. Guardian of the 7th floor, Lucifer, I bow before you, O Supreme One. Fenrir. Guardian of the 8th floor, Fenrir, I bow before you, O Supreme One. Pharaoh. Guardian of the 9th floor, Pharaoh, I bow before you, O Supreme One. Rose. Guardian of the 10th floor and leader of the Guardians, Rose, I bow before you, O Supreme One. All. The floor guardians have gathered to prostrate ourselves before you, your orders, O Supreme One. We offer our complete devotion to you. This is no relic of the past, no more the fruits of my efforts is here now, YN thought with a smile. YN. Wonderful. He mutters to himself. YN. Now then it appears the great tomb of Thanatos has expectedly become involved in some sort of situation, and it's unclear how it's happened. Is there anyone who saw any signs this might happen? He asked them. No one had any idea this would happen. She said while bowing on the ground. YN. I see. He should be back soon. He thought. Sebastian. I apologize for my lateness. He said with a bow. YN. No matter, more importantly, what's it like out? He asked Sebastian. Sebastian. For a half-mile radius it's all grassy plains, there were no man-made structures, but... YN. But... Sebastian. The sky is purple, and the moon is radiating demonic powers as if it's made of demonic. He stopped when he felt an intense amount of killing intent, and it was terrifying. Sebastian. I apologize, my lord, if I said something wrong. But he was interrupted by YN's crazy laughter. YN. Ha ha ha, you didn't said anything wrong, Sebastian, ha ha ha, it's the opposite, you just gave me the good news, ha ha. He said while laughing like a crazy madman. It's my turn now, I hope you two are ready, eyes glow red cause a god is coming for your soul, YN thought coldly, and increased the amount of killing intent while laughing like a madman.